My first question to you, Madam President, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, what is the purpose of your trip to Washington this time around?
President Obama invited the leaders of the 3 countries affected by Ebola, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, to have a meeting with him, to share some of the experiences we have had, to recognize some of the progress we have made, and to reassure us that the United States will continue to be with us until we totally contain this virus and we embark upon our economic recovery programs.
Mm-hmm. You know, there are people, of course, who say that, yes, you can talk the talk, but sometimes you really have to walk the talk. Was there anything concrete that you agreed upon that the United States President pledged to do for the 3 affected countries in East Africa, including Liberia?
Well, you know, the Congress had already appropriated a certain amount to fight Ebola. And out of that, there was $1.4 billion that's supposed to be allocated to the 3 countries. Now, of course, as you know, that allocation we don't have all the details on, and a lot of it go to U.S. institutions that have been involved in working with us to fight the disease. Mm-hmm. Well, we made more progress, you know, than had been anticipated when these estimates were made. And what I take it as something concrete is that President Obama said, well, we recognize the progress. What we'd like to do now is to see how some of that allocation, you know, that may not be used can now be shifted to support your economic recovery program. Now, I don't know the details of, you know, the role of Congress and all of that in these allocations, but I took his commitment as very positive and, you know, and very concrete.
So would it be fair then to say that the meeting really met your expectations?
The meeting met our expectations. He was very firm in his statement of support. If I may just use a phrase he used, he said, I would like for the United States to make your 3 countries successful coming out of this dreadful disease. And I think that's a strong statement.
I see. Well, you also had meetings with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. And I gather that you had requested for anywhere between $5 to $6 billion. How did that meeting go? Because reports suggest that the World Bank actually has agreed to offer $650 million.
Well, let's put this in context. We said we'd like to see what we call a Marshall Plan. A Marshall Plan means a pooling of international resources toward the objective of helping the 3 countries on their economic recovery road. Mm-hmm. Our rough back-of-the-envelope estimate came to about $8.8 billion, $4 billion of which is a regional program, and the other 4 are attributed to the 3 countries' national development program. We knew that this is an indicative program. We also knew that we already have, all 3 of us, national programs for which commitments and pledges have already been made for different types of programs that are very consistent with the overall program that we had formulated. And so we're looking at taking some of the existing commitments that come from not just the World Bank Group, but our European partners, our other multilateral partners, African Development Bank, International Monetary Fund, the whole range of supports. Taking that and then looking for additionality that will take us to this amount. So when the World Bank said 650 million, that is additionality, because the bank had already made commitments to each of us in this fight for some of our program, and to each of us in our own development, national development programs. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, sometimes, you know, it takes a while to take all of these big numbers and, you know, unbundle them and put them in a different thing. But we think what was more important is that the response to our call was positive. And everyone said these countries deserve the help, not only because we've been through this, but because we have to prepare our health systems to have the resistance and the capacity to respond to this, because this is not a West Africa threat. It's a global threat, and you know what happened in this process. And so we like that positive response, and I think the Washington Post today said it well when they said the 3 countries deserve this support.